there are 3, maybe 4 types of BMW drivers out there. Car handles great. Wow, it really sticks to the road there. It does. I enjoy the way it feels. It's smooth, it's got good acceleration, good pickup. Oh yeah, this is a nice car. Turn the car off, but it's still playing radio. Oh, okay. 100%, yes. Meeting, yes, schedule my meeting at 6 p.m. No, actually that's too late. Let's do 2 p.m. and I want everybody there. I want to know who dropped the ball here, because when I come in for this meeting, there's gonna be some heads on the chopping block here. Yes. New watch. Everyone, welcome back to the channel. Okay, something that kind of prompted me to make this video, and it has to do with my wife actually taking delivery of her X3 M40i. And someone asked, says, how do you feel about you know, the BMW doing their M's, the M performance models, and basically you're, as an M enthusiast, M owner, how do you feel? So I was like, okay, here it is. Now before we get started, let's talk a little bit about some history, because what I'm going to go into, and I'm going to start talking about this, it's going to feel like you're going to be like, what? And the thing is, when you buy an M, if you think about where the M came from, the M comes from, like me, is motorsport. So the whole reason that you buy an M is because you want a piece of that motorsport, you want a piece of that racing heritage. All right, now I might be showing my age a little bit, but I'm just gonna go back to like the 90s a little bit, where you buy a BMW and you had your 3 series, you had your 5 series, you had your 7 series. That was it. All right, this is before the X lines came into play, but you knew the BMW by the number, you knew the BMW what engine it had by the number, and you knew basically if it was a diesel or inject. It's basically the number. First number tells you which body style it is, either 3 Series or 5 Series or 7 Series. You knew basically the body style of the car. Then if it was a 325 or a 328, you knew what engine the car had. So a 528 and a 328 would have the same engine. Basically a 540 and a 740 would have the same engine, okay? So that's what BMW did. Now, of course, over the years, BMW has added the 1, the 2, the 4, the 6, 8 Series. Of course, then you get into the X's and the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? Anyway, that'll probably be a whole nother video on its own. But what I want to talk about is packages, and more specifically, sport packages and performance and the true M models, okay? You have, before, I think back in the day, you can just order, like I said, if you didn't buy a BMW, if you wanted the sporty version of it, you would go for an M car. That was it. It was either you buy the regular version or you buy an M. That was it. There was no, it was pretty black and white of where you want it, and most enthusiasts would just go for an M car. The diehards would go for the M car. Enthusiasts will still go for BMW, but BMW is a driver's car. It is a car that loves to be driven. It's a car that likes to be driven. Very, just people who love to drive. Like someone like me, I like the feel of the road. I like the way the car handles. I like feeling connected to the car. It's that connection that you feel. I think that's what makes BMW such a driver's car. Okay. We get into someone, like I said, that's like, you know what, I want that, but let's turn up a notch. There comes M cars. Here is some of our racing heritage, our racing equipment, but now you're putting it inside a civilian car that I could buy. Now, I've seen over the years where, especially when I was of age and I was ready to buy my first BMW, I was looking to an 890 and it was a 330i, and I had a choice to buy a sport package on that BMW, just a sport package. All that did was give me different suspension. It gave me a different steering wheel, and it might have had different wheels. Okay, that was it. But that was something that, obviously I couldn't afford a full M car, but that was something that, you could kind of go for. So you look here, this is a 3 Series BMW, but it's an M3. So it's an M car, it's a full M car, okay? Now, that's why they don't call it, BMW 3 something M. It is M3. It's an M, and it's the 3 for your, your generation. If I have an X5M, which I have an X5M, it is your X5, but it is your M variant, okay? Now, with the M cars, the M means that you're going to have everything under, it's really all this, just mainly the shell. There's not many parts in here that this car shares with a regular, say, a 328 or 335 or 330i. There's not much in here. Even the body lines are different. You see it has the wider hips. The bumper is totally different design. The exhaust is totally different. The interior is different. There's gauge clusters different, and there's a whole different slew of options that are different. Transmission, engine, okay, the engine has its own engine code that's not even shared with any other model. So I can't get this engine, even though it's a variation of, let's say, a 335, which is the N55. This is the S55, which means it's been beefed up by BMW Motorsport. They have tweaked it, engineered it, and tuned it the way that they felt was appropriate for this application. The wheels and brakes. See, it's got the bigger brake caliper, the slot, cross-drilled rotor. The front, you can see here, it's got everything. It's got, the rotors itself is huge. Okay. So you come in here, you look in here. First thing you open the door, you see the M3. You see is another M logo. You see another M logo right there. You're gonna see an M logo right there. You're going to see the M tricolor on the steering wheel. You're going to see another M logo on the shifter. You're going to see 2 more M logos on the instrument cluster. M logo on the wheel. M logo on the brake caliper. Another M logo. M logo on the exhaust. Okay, you get the point. Even the front face of the car looks different. On the regular non-M's, you're going to see fog lights. You're going to have a different bumper. Okay, so where I'm going at, you're probably like, well, Eddie, what's going on here? Why do you keep bringing out these M logos? And we understand what M means. Okay, so now, what if BMW decided to do? I think this was, I don't know, I'm not sure how far back, maybe 2007, 2008, but BMW decided to come out what's called M Sport. Okay, what M Sport does is it gives you a little sportier look. It may not look like a full M. It may not have this aggressive bumpers. It may not have the aggressive looking wheels and the flares. Like, this body is wider just for M. The hood is just for this car. And another thing that's exclusive to M are these mirrors. Okay, these mirrors here is a tradition. It is exclusive just for the BMW M car. Okay, so BMW's call was M Sport. M Sport. Oh, I missed the M logo. Sorry. Before we get going, another M logo right there. All right. So M Sport. M Sport means you bought a, for example, I bought a X5, and they have the same variation between whether you buy the non-M Sport or non-regular M Sport. The M Sport is only for appearance. You may see the M logos when you open the door. You may see the M logo on your steering wheel. That's to give you a little bit more of a sporty feel, but nothing extra added on to the car as far as horsepower. No extra horsepower, no extra performance, but it does look a little bit better. You're going to have, at least it's objectively, I guess. If you want that sportier look, you say, you know what, I don't care about the extra horsepower. I don't need the M, because the M's are for people who race, people who drive, aggressive. Someone like me, like I appreciate a car that sticks to the road, and any BMW is going to do that. Don't get me wrong, any BMW is going to feel it. You can get good handling. You get that nice road holding and that connected feel. But when you get an M, it just turns that notch all the way up. It just like someone just says, just crank, just send it, far as engineering wise. Give me everything you got. Okay. M Sport, just like I said, if I take this car and put it in M Sport, if I had 335, it wouldn't look this way. But I might have a different steering wheel. I might have a couple of M logos, different bumpers, maybe different wheels. But that's usually the extent of where it goes. Some sport cars may give you a different, called an M Sport brake package, which gives you a slightly different brake package for someone who is a sportier driver, but they just want that, that sportier look too. Okay, they don't want to spend the money to go to full M, or nor to need that full M performance. Okay. Now I go on and on about the M's and what makes the M an M. But now BMW has added something else that they said, what if someone wants a sport package, M Sport, but they want more horsepower, but they don't want to go full M? What can we pick for them? What would be that purpose? So that person would be the one that wants the extra horsepower, who may appreciate the drive like we do. For if you're watching, if you're a full M, like if you like it, or if you're just someone who, like me, when I first started off, I wanted the full M, but obviously I just couldn't make it work for me at the time, and I did what I could. I had the 335i. It was a regular sport package, but I enjoyed that car when I had it, and it worked for me. But BMW has now added, a different player to the game. They're saying that we can do an M Performance. Okay, so the M Performance means you're gonna get you're gonna get a little bit more M stuff. You're gonna get the M. We're gonna put an M badge on the car, but we're gonna put it in a way where it's not going to kind of encroach on the full M's. But I'll get back into that in a second. Then they're gonna add in some M logos and on the doors and things, and sort of like the M Sport. Then you're going to add in the bigger brakes. Now I talked about that with the full M's. You know how they have the bigger brake calipers are bigger, the brake discs are bigger, get the cross drilled, but you're getting a slightly bigger brake package with the M Performance standard. You wish you should be an option if you got the M Sport back. You know, all depending on what you wanted. Okay. Now, I was a little when they first started doing that, it didn't bother me, but the M badge on the rear is like, oh, okay. But they did it in a way where, for example, if it was a 3 Series, instead of calling it M3 something something, it would be like a M340, okay, an M240, a M550, or an X5 M50i. I'm like, okay, that's fine. Like, just as long as people, you know what they're getting. And then you gotta get the X3, for example. And so this is a 2023 X3 M40i, and it has the M badge on the back. It's got the M logo. But however, I noticed this is starting, I think 2022, they first did this. Look at the mirrors. They're doing the same thing. There's the same mirror, that same style that's on the X5M, same style that's on the M3. Okay, all right. Something exclusive that's always on the true M cars is always the M badge in the grill. But guess what? We got an M badge now. It's not saying X3M like the true M of this car would be, because there is an X3M, which is a whole nother level of what this car would be. It's going to be a lot more horsepower. It's going to be more aggressive. It's going to have it's going to be more raw. It's going to ride it rougher, right? So this is someone, like I said, wife, perfect example, perfect person for a car like this. She is sort of like me. She likes the performance. She likes to hear the car to kind of make some nice sounds out of the exhaust. But when it comes down to it, she is not a full M person like I am. She doesn't want to. She's not going to take advantage and really enjoy the full, like all the engineering that goes into this car. She would never take advantage of it. And maybe some of the drivers who would or would not. We had the option to buy the M Sport, the M differential. The M Sport, but it would just call it M differential, which has been a torque vectoring, which even put it closer in terms of handling toward the M, because I have that on my X5M. We didn't go with that because I know that she would never be driving in the corners like that. It would just sort of a waste of $1,300. But the fact that you can opt for that, the fact that you can change up, the fact that this car looks like this, even the front end, it's got that more aggressive front. If I pull up an M, I'm gonna see if I can find a picture of a white one. I'll just put a thing over here, have B-roll it. But it looks close to an M. Obviously, when you put them side by side, you definitely see the differences, and you'll notice that, wait a minute. And the brakes, yeah, they're big. They're not really that much bigger. It's got a bigger caliper, but it's not going to be cross-drilled like you're going to see on, for example, the M3, where it's really set up for the track braking, okay? The vehicle still comes with run flats. M cars do not come with run flats. Obviously, the seats are different. Specialized seats, but let's take a look at the interior. So you see here, you get in here, it says M340i. You got an M badge right here, and you got an M badge right there. You got the M colors on your steering wheel. No M here, so at least it doesn't have that part. The seats are not M specific. Different got the M badge here. Of course, this is M Sport cars get this M as well. M badge right there. And we were able to opt for carbon fiber trim in this car. It's it's different. The lines between the variation between the M cars and the non-M cars. The M cars used to be, I guess, how I feel. I feel like you're kind of watering down the brand a little bit. And I don't know if anybody, my channel's small. I don't think anyone from BMW would watch this, but for someone like me, who when I'm out on the road, when I'm driving and I'm enjoying the car, when every other BMW model may have an M logo on the back, maybe some type of M performance, what is setting the brand apart from something like this? How are people really going to make the determination? And also, what if people get confused? Because you also going to have people who are going to buy something like this, and they're going to say, "Hey, I bought an X3 M." Do they know? Let's ask my wife if she knows. I'm just going to ask her, "What do you have?" Because we never had that conversation. I'm gonna ask her on camera, and I'm gonna say, "Hey, is your car an M?" And I'm gonna see what she says. But before we do that, let me finish up here. It's not even. I think it's adding confusion, and for someone to spend the money, you really have to know what you're spending it on to get the full M variant of this, certain cars. Because I would feel, for me, I feel like you're encroaching a little bit when you do the mirrors, and then you got the M badge. I'm starting to feel a little bit. The word's looking for exclusivity. That's it. When you have all the cars running around with M badges on, the true M's out there aren't going to be as exclusive when you see it. It's not gonna be like, "Oh wow, look at that, that's an M." It's gonna feel like everybody else is, like I said, it's not gonna be as exclusive. It's like, think about Teslas. They have their performance model, and Tesla seems to sell performance more because they're more readily available. So now you see a lot of performance Teslas out there, not really because the drivers are performance oriented, but I would say maybe half the drivers have ordered the performance just because the wait time is shorter. Because of the longer range ones took a little longer to arrive. So for me, for Tesla, having the performance sort of, when I see performance, it just washes out that brand altogether. And I think that it's starting to trickle over how BMW is doing their M performance and M sports and things with the M logos on the car. Don't get me wrong, it's not a bad car, but I'm feeling like I'm making it. What is the difference now? Is there an M logo on the side? Oh, there's nothing on the side, but aside from a couple of logos, there's not much out there. There's not much difference in this car, and I'm feeling like I'm a little disappointed. Now they're coming up to I think it was the S68. So I believe I read it on there. So that's going to new X5M, but also they're gonna put it in the M60, just detune it. So, what's gonna stop someone from just getting the M60i and getting the tune, and then there you go. You're spending less money and call it a day. I don't know how you feel about that. Let me know in the comments. Let's hear it, good or bad. I want to hear what you think. I'm sure M owners are going to feel certain ways. Some people might not. They might say, "Yeah, good, great." More M cars out there. But I feel like it's going to be more confusion. I feel like it waters down the brand. Sort of like how I felt with Lexus, and I made videos on this before when I had a Lexus ISF. They start now. It's a little different because Lexus was just sort of a new player, adding their performance division with the F. The ISF was the first one, GSF, and then the RCF. And then Lexus even said they're not trying to compete with the AMGs or the M's, but they are trying to set themselves apart from, obviously when you get a true F. And the problem was when I got my ISF, people were telling me, Oh, I got an ISF. Oh, you got an ISF? Oh, yeah. My friend has an ISF. So then you think, oh, odd. Okay, cool. She got an ISF. Then find out it's IS 250 F Sport. So, and the reason why, because Lexus didn't get a chance to really set their brand apart. They didn't get a chance to really set the F division. Let it run for a while, for a few years. I think they ran for like 2 or 3 years, and before you know it, 2 years later, they start putting F on everything. F Sport this, F Sport that, ES 350 F Sport, RX F Sport. So then you're taking away from the F. People see F Sport, they're like, oh, okay, F. I can't tell you how many times when I had my ISF, people were so shocked at the stoplight, and I just ran away from them. And they're offended the Q50, and they couldn't understand why that we should be same power. Like, no, this is the F. Well, I just beat one today. I said, no, this is the V8. This is a 416 horsepower V8, pal. So, but for some reason, Audi, I know Audi's is with their A5s, S5s, RS5s. Hey, I got a question for you. Come back for a second.
On camera?
On camera. Sorry, it's perfect timing. Cause I said I was gonna ask you.
What?
Your ex. Hey everybody, this is Lexi. If you follow the channel, you already know who she is. Lexi, you wanna say hi?
Hi.
All right. So we're talking about your car. This is an X3. Is this? How do you feel about this? Is your car an M?
It's the M Performance, not an M.
Okay, so you're aware of it, that it is not a M car.
Yeah.
Okay, but you're getting extra power with it, and you chose this because you want extra power. You didn't want to get.
It's just an upgraded package. It's not the full M engine and all the other things that come along with it. It's just an upgrade.
Okay. Okay. When you could have got an X3 30i with the M Sport package that looked just like this. What made you step up to an M40i?
Because it has a little bit more power.
Perfect. You want the power. But you didn't want to go full X3 M because...
No, because then when you go full M, then you get the sport suspension and all the other things that go along with it that make it ride terrible.
Okay. So the suspension you feel like you wouldn't take advantage of because you're not that type of driver that's going to be throwing
It's
in
my
curves.
mom car. Why would I want stiff suspension?
Well, I'm going to be taking the baby and doing some high G-force loads and these.
No, you're not.
Okay, I'm just kidding. All right, thank you.
Hey, can I go finish cooking dinner?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
Okay.
Thank
10
you.
minutes, okay?
All right, thank you so much. I'm going to finish in 10 minutes. All right. So yeah, that's how I feel now. Surprisingly, she knew what she was getting. I did try to convince her for an X3M. She didn't want to look at the X3 in general. If you followed the channel, she was like all not about it. But when she looked at it, when she test drove this one, I think she felt like, okay, the ride isn't as harsh as the M, because she's ridden in this car. She's ridden in my X5M. She knows those cars ride a little rough. This one was more compliant. Obviously, these still come with, you can get the adaptive suspension in these. So it does have the adaptive suspension in performance. That was something that was also exclusive to the M cars. So there is a comfort mode, there is a sport mode for the suspension to, you can change your ride quality. So I don't know if going to sport, I'll have to see, but the sport mode could be something close to, I imagine, the comfort mode on the X3M, because X3M in comfort was rough. I will admit that it was a rough ride. But that's how I feel. Let me know in the comments how you feel. I want to hear both sides. All right, and I don't want to sound like I am. When I'm saying like I'm like this is the M brand. I don't want anyone else to have an M badge. It's not really about that, because regardless, and I know there's people who are going to stick M badges on anything. But why is BMW doing it? That's my issue, is they're putting on the car. Why couldn't they just do, like I said, like when they did the 340, why they had to put the M badge on it? But I understand where it is. I understand where it's coming from, and I've seen videos where the M340s and the M3s, from a 0 to 60 standpoint, when you're talking about the X-Drive version of the M40 and the rear-wheel drive of the M3, they're pretty close acceleration, but once the M3 hits a stride, it runs away. Once you put the dude on the track, the M3 runs away. Once you put them on, like when it comes down to braking, the M3 is going to stop shorter. So that performance is still there. It's just not as much as, unless you're on a track, that's where it's really going to show. Okay, the street, I think, is just more enjoyable for someone like certain people who would appreciate the extra stuff behind it. Like for me, I love it. You know, I love it, and I'm always wanting more. You know, but let me know in the comments what you think. Like I said, I don't want to create this whole, you know, divide, but there's something that I feel when I look at it and I see that this car has a lot of the M bits on it, but it's still in performance. But like I said, don't want to sound like I'm putting myself up here and the non-M's are down here. I mean, like I said, each person, they select their car for their reasons. I was like, one point I had to get a non-M because that was what my budget allowed me to do, and fortunate enough that I can get a M now, and luckily I was able to get this before the prices have went up to what they are now, because I am seeing the prices on those. And I'm sorry guys if you haven't got an M, because those M cars are like